Hello fellow stackers, 365 here, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I've got some more CBDC news for you. Now the more research I do, the more concerning it gets. Now like I said before, I don't want this channel to become a scare channel where I'm trying to scare everyone into buying precious metals. That's never been my intention. It's just I want to share the research I'm doing. I'm really looking into this digital currency and I just want to share my findings. So like I said, I don't want this channel to turn into like a scare channel with fire in the thumbnail saying run to precious metals now. That's not what I want to do. This is just basically for your educational purposes, sharing the information I found so that you can make your own decisions where you put your money. Now I've been reading through the technology working paper for the digital pound. For those of you that live in the UK, you might have already heard of it, you might have not, but the Bank of England have announced on their website that the digital pound is pretty much complete in terms of they know exactly how it's going to work, where it's going to be, how it's going to be kind of released, what it's going to do and all the rest of it. So they haven't actually done a release date yet, and they do say that it's still a work in progress, but just by looking at the detail that they've got on their website, you can tell that it's a lot further forward than just a work in progress. It sounds like it's pretty much ready to go when they want it to go. Now, there's a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. Now, this is the digital pound technology working paper, and it's 87 pages long. I'll leave a link to it in the description below if you want to check it out. But the bits I want to draw your attention to is the part where it's basically trying to distance itself from crypto. Now it's really interesting to see on page 74 where it says Ethereum model and avalanche model. If you're interested in the part about the avalanche, you can pause the video and read it. I'm just going to read the Ethereum part now. So it says blockchains such as Ethereum have popularized smart contracts by allowing contracts to be hosted, orchestrated and executed on the blockchain itself via the Ethereum virtual machine. The Ethereum approach would require the bank to host and orchestrate wide-ranging business logic on behalf of others in the form of smart contracts. Given our aim to provide the minimum necessary functionality for CBDC, this activity is best left to the private sector. Hosting business logic also creates a number of reputable risks and potential conflicts. It also could create technical challenges or inhibit the performance of the core CBD system. Now you can see that they're very quickly trying to distance themselves from cryptocurrency. They obviously see cryptocurrency as a threat, and that is what has really pushed CBDC along, because they see that people don't want to be centralized. They want to have their money off the record. They want to have it in Bitcoin, or they want to have it in precious metals. And the government don't want that. So the government are very quickly bringing out their own digital currency and then distancing themselves from other cryptocurrencies. Like many of us have spoken about before in other videos, the next stage for me, I think, will be banning crypto altogether. The government aren't going to have something that is a potential competition running alongside their own project, are they? So I think the first stage for them is to distance themselves from crypto, explain all the negatives why crypto doesn't work, and the next stage will just be to, like China have already done, just completely ban it. Because like I said, they're not going to have something running alongside their new system that is going to potentially be competition. So that's the first thing I wanted to draw your attention to. I think it's very interesting that in their, basically like I said, in their white paper, they're already distancing themselves from their first competition, if you like, which is crypto. Now, the next thing I want to draw you to is this article, which is basically explaining how the banks have been accumulating gold faster than they have been for many years. Now, it says central banks have been buying gold in quantities not seen since 1967. After decades of efforts to demonetize gold, why would the guardians of the monetary system suddenly invest large sums into a metal that demands crippling minimal costs and offers little return? The answer is not so simple. So like we said before, don't do what the governments and the banks say we should be doing, do what they're doing. That's how I look at things. Now, the government is trying to push out this digital currency that we don't actually own, we don't physically own. They're trying to say how it's a great idea, how it's the way forward, how it's the future, and they're trying to encourage everyone to get on board, ready for when they start releasing it. Now, if they're saying that to us, then why are they behind closed doors accumulating more gold than they've ever accumulated since 1967? Why are they turning around and saying gold is such a bad investment, it's not worth holding, it offers little returns, and all the rest of it, but then them themselves are accumulating it? So that's the first thing I wanted to bring to your attention. And again, I will leave this article in the description below if you want to read through it. Now, if we scroll down in this article and we look at the CBDC section, where it starts talking about CBDC, now it says, according to the CBDC tracker, a website which monitors the status of central bank digital currency, and we'll get onto that website in a minute, it says projects across the globe, all major central banks are either in the beginning stages of research or piloting for the introduction of retail CBDC. The advantages of retail CBDC for the average user are not immediately clear, but becomes more evident with further research. Most of what we call money is digital already. Instant settlement options are being offered by private sector companies such as Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App. Now, I want to draw your attention back to Cash App in a minute. So remember, Cash App is on their list of current suppliers of pretty much digital money, if you like, which offers currency for users to trade and distribute that is not backed by a central bank. The massive popularity of these apps have effectively cut time and costs of cross-border transactions across the globe. Let me draw you back to where it is basically saying that these apps are pretty much offering a digital currency already. Now, I haven't heard of Venmo or Zelle. Those of you in the US might have heard of it, but here in the UK, I haven't actually heard of those two particular companies, but I have heard of Cash App. Now, essentially, Cash App is pretty much what the government want to do with their own central bank digital currency. So that is one of their direct competitors. The same as crypto. Now, we've already seen what the governments are trying to do with crypto. They're trying to distance themselves from crypto. And like I said, I do think eventually crypto will be banned across the globe because it will be such a big competition for CBDCs. Now, you can see on here that the next targets are going to be these companies that have already started bringing out their own form of digital currency. Now, one of my subscribers called George, he actually brought this to my attention a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, I think it was. And basically, this is an article that shows you that the founder of Cash App has already been murdered. Now, obviously, it's speculation at this point to who has murdered these people and who is behind it. But don't you find that very, very interesting that the founder of Cash App, which is a huge competitor to CBDCs, has been murdered? Now, again, I'll leave this article in the description below if you want to read through it, but the headline says, Bob Lee dead, Cash App founder dies after San Francisco stabbing. So it's extremely interesting to read that one of the biggest CBDC competitors, the founder of it, has now been murdered. Now, you can see if you look down this article, it shows you how popular the Cash App was. Cash App is a smartphone-based payment app that allows person-to-person money transfers and is now worth 40 billion, according to Forbes. Since launching in 2013, its user base has skyrocketed, hitting 7 million monthly active users in 2007 and climbing to 30 million in 2020. So you can see that as time's gone on, the app has become more and more popular, and it is definitely a huge competitor for central bank digital currencies. Now, it seems very interesting to me that this person that created this app has been murdered fairly recently, and what is coming in around the corner? Central bank digital currency. Now, like I said, this is speculation. Make up your own minds. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. I'm just bringing the facts to you so that you can make your own judgment on this absolute mess that is going on at the moment. Now, if we head over to CBDC Tracker, and this website I only discovered today, so I haven't had time to fully play around with it, but it's very interesting. It's basically keeping track of the entire globe's banks and what stages they are at with their terms of releasing CBDC. Now, there's lots of different filters that you can use: cancelled, research, proof of concept, pilot, and launched. So I searched by launch because I thought, what countries are already using central bank digital currency? And you can see that a couple of them show up. Now, the first one is Bahamas and the second one is Jamaica. Now, I wasn't even aware that these countries are already using central bank digital currency. So the more I look into it, the more I'm learning. Now, on this next page, you can see that the website is in fact correct, and Jamaica has launched its first digital currency. Now, again, I'll leave this in the description so you can have a read through. You can see it says the island's national central bank has recognised Jamdex as a legal tender, thereby making the Caribbean nation the first country in the world to legalise CBDC. In all, about 10 countries have actually launched CBDC, including Nigeria and Bahamas, with its sand dollar, and several Caribbean nations. So it just goes to show you that the CBDCs aren't in pilot stage. They are literally being released around the globe. Now, it's only a matter of time before the US releases their digital dollar. Now, a lot of people are saying that the Fed now is already a CBDC, whereas the Federal Reserve are saying that's not a CBDC. They're saying that's a service to be able to send money quicker to people. But again, isn't that what a central bank digital currency is? It's numbers on a screen that you can send to another app. So make up your own mind whether you decide Fed now is in fact the first stages of the digital dollar, or whether it is actually two separate things. Maybe it's going to run alongside the digital dollar. Maybe that's the kind of app, the wallet, if you like, where you're going to hold the digital dollars, and then they're going to follow up and release the digital dollar once people start getting on board with Fed now. So like I said at the beginning of the video, the governments and the banks are telling us that we don't need physical cash and the digital way is the way forward. But then why are they themselves buying physical assets? Why are they accumulating huge amounts of gold to put in their gold reserves, but then they're telling the general public that we don't need things that are physical? It makes more sense to have it digitalized. It just doesn't add up. Now, like I said as well at the beginning of the video, I've always been a person to do what the government are doing, not what they're saying. And I can clearly see that they're accumulating huge amounts of precious metals, but they're telling us that we don't need it. They're telling us it's a bad investment, it's a waste of money, and gold and silver is dead. But in my eyes, I'm going to continue to do what the government are doing, and I'm going to continue to accumulate precious metals, because that is what they're doing, and they're telling us a different thing. So, like I said, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section. I hope you found this video interesting. If you like this sort of content, please subscribe. I don't often ask people to subscribe, but please do subscribe to the channel, because I am doing a hell of a lot of research into this, and I'm going to keep sharing my findings. So as always, thanks very much for watching my videos, and I hope you have a nice day.